There's a small chance you might have heard this already, but Boris Johnson has resigned after so many of his ministers resigned that his cabinet would just consist of him and Carrie making the decisions. So business as usual then. Politics must be the only job where you get fired by other people resigning. I've been fired from loads of jobs. I've never had a boss call a meeting and say to colleagues, "Okay, Leo's been stealing Mars bars. You know the drill. Everyone quit to try and make him quit." Now they just fire me because they're not mental. Boris wasn't the perfect Prime Minister. He lacked the moral fortitude to do anything in the nation's best interests if it damaged his popularity. He lacked the consistency to see policies through. He broke rules and conventions like a hard-nosed 70s cop who gets results. But everyone's lining up to call him a liar, like it's an exceptional thing. Look, Boris didn't introduce lying to politics. We're used to politicians lying, from Tony Blair's Iraqi weapons of mass destruction to Jeremy Corbyn's claims of electability. In fact, Boris's lying was less dangerous because we knew he was lying, so it wasn't really a lie. Some of the criticism is a bit of a stretch. People are criticising Boris for receiving a blowjob in Parliament. Look, if you're trying to discredit him, don't list his most inspirational moments. And some of the criticism is pretty hypocritical. Head of the anti-UK Scottish Nationalist Party, Nicola Sturgeon, criticised Boris for not resigning sooner in the face of so many sex scandals.
Particularly given the character and personality of Boris Johnson, I'm not sure that anybody could look at Boris Johnson and conclude that he is capable of genuinely behaving as a caretaker Prime Minister. He will want to do things and in the process of that undoubtedly cause even more chaos than he has already. So the interests of people in all parts of the UK surely must be to bring this farce to an end and to bring it to an end without any further delay.
I mean, at least Boris did actually resign after the sex scandals. In Sturgeon's reign as leader of the Scottish National Party, there's been scandal after scandal. I'm not just talking about former SNP leader Alex Salmond and his sleepy cuddles. There was SNP Children's Minister Mark MacDonald who had to stand down after sending inappropriate messages to women. There was SNP Finance Minister Derek Mackay, who was caught sending 270 unwanted text messages to a 16-year-old boy, calling him cute and saying that these messages are just between us, it's just our little secret, like he's the baddie in a stranger danger video. He did end up standing down, but he continued to receive his £64,000 a year salary. No work for full pay sounds like a reward rather than a punishment to me. But most damningly, out of all the SNP sex scandals, is SNP Chief Whip and key Sturgeon ally Patrick Grady. He's still in government despite being found guilty of sexual misconduct after making unwanted advances on a teenage SNP worker in a London bar in 2016. And instead of the SNP firing Patrick, they suspended his teenage victim and threatened him with disciplinary action. All these SNP nonsense, I think this is the secret to Sturgeon's popularity as an SNP leader. She's been impersonating a schoolboy for years. In case you're wondering why Patrick Grady looks like that, by the way, it's because his dad's a tub of lard and his mum's an egg. Stuff like this gets downplayed in the Scottish media though, because the biggest advertising spender in Scotland is the Scottish Government, which is controlled by the SNP. In Scotland, there isn't the separation of powers that you see in a healthy democracy, so any news outlet that criticises the SNP will quietly have ads pulled and lose out on that revenue. And the criticism of Boris from within his own party mainly comes from people who propped him up over the last 2 years. But Boris going does mean that we could maybe get an actually conservative leader of the Conservatives for the first time in about 4 decades. Attorney General Suella Braverman was the first to put herself forward as a potential leadership candidate, promising lower taxes, lower spending, a slash on the red tape and wokeism that stunts growth, innovation and individual freedoms. Whoever gets in needs to do this as well. Brits currently have the highest tax rate since the Second World War. I don't remember voting for Jeremy Corbyn, but I somehow got his policies anyway. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe and see my Patreon for more videos. Cheers, bye.